And we're live, full-time family. No 5-minute introduction today because I was running about 5 minutes late and I got work today. So, we don't got all the time in the world. But the way we will start off the show is by, of course, going to UFC Yankovic. And we're going to be talking about, a little bit of WMMA, of course, toward the end of the show after we recap UFC Denver. So, since we're just going immediately live, we'll give the full-time family a little bit of time to roll in the show, and we'll start the show off by playing this Cardi B UFC Yankovic hot remix. Hold on, I gotta get some headphones, because if not, it's going to echo for you guys. 1 second, here we go. Alright, now we're in there like swimwear. Now we'll hit play. Let me pull up the chat. Be careful, Valentina, they're saying you're pretty confident, but here in MMA, I ain't the one that you want a problem with, so stop it, bitch, or you wanna gon' have to drop a bitch. I ain't about to lose and go out like my homegirl Ronda did, but speaking of losing, how about you and Amanda Nunes? She beat you twice, and for this fight, she's teaching I'm the student, never truant, cause I really wanna beat you, I'ma do it when I do. Please don't go to the media with excuses. I know you beat me in Muay Thai, but this is different. This is more than throwing punches, knees and kicks and clinching. This is more like war. These motherfucking chicks is vicious, and anything goes. I don't fear any of these hoes, not even Rose, Tatiana, Jessica Andrade, or Cyborg. If you're trying to frighten me, then you should try more. When we fight, we'll get it poppin' like July 4th. At UFC 231, you're gonna die, whore. It's the fight game I adore. I gave up everything to fight these wars to become the greatest fighter in the world. So I hope you get what you're paying for. Be careful with me. Do you know who you're fighting? About my legacy, about my striking. You might beat these other girls around the world, but they ain't nothing like me. Be careful with me. Yeah. It's not a threat, it's a warning. Be careful with me. Hey, yeah, I'm writing some bad words and your name on a water bottle. Be careful with me. Be careful with me. Shout out to the full-time family. Hey, be careful with me. Yo, shout out to the full-time family. What's going on? Leon Dubson, first like. Thank you very much, Leon Dubson, kicking it off. First one to finish your bagels. Probably didn't even bring one. Thank you very much, man, for hitting that like button. And everybody else, if you haven't yet finished biting your bagels, do your boy a favor. Hit the like button. Matter of fact, smash the like button like your middle name and your last name is Khabib. We ain't fucking around today. Salute to Doug Lewis. Arpit Singh in this thing. Mr. Perfect 2005 says my girl loves this track. Yo, that's dope. That's dope. Unemployed Mario Yamasaki says, hola, ¿qué pasó, amigo? All right, guys, you guys ready? Doug Lewis said I had 2 bagels today, but I'm finished. Well, as long as you're finished, you smash that like button, we're all good. Love to the bagel biters. As soon as you're finished, you can enjoy the show. So with that being said, let's first recap UFC Denver. What a fucking epic night of fights that was this Saturday. Holy flying flipping flapjacks. Hey, somebody commented on my reaction. They're like, yo, this was like the most, I don't know, uneventful. Not uneventful, but like my reaction wasn't as excited as it should be. I'll tell you guys why. It's because I actually missed the knockout. Like when it first happened. I was watching the fight. I don't know what, I was doing the stream and everything. I was doing a fight companion, so I didn't miss the knockout, but the fight was almost over. They just like high-fived 10 seconds ago. We were talking about the high-five. The fight was about to be over. I thought it was going to a decision. And then all of a sudden, I just seen the bell. I heard the bell ring, and Chan Sung Jung was laid out. I was like, wait, how did the knockout happen? But by then I knew it was a lie. I was like, he's knocked out. Well, but I didn't see how it was the up elbow until I saw the replay. But then when I see the replay, I was like, oh, shit. That's why when it first happened, I wasn't, going crazy because I didn't really see how he knocked him out originally. Coach in the building, CSH Combat Sports here to hit the like. Yo, salute to the coach. Everybody make sure you check out the coach's channel.
best WMMA channel on YouTube, CSH Combat Sports. Make sure you guys go check him out. But yeah, so what an epic knockout that was. CSH says, folks, 12 months, this will be the #1 channel on YouTube. Man, yours will be, man. Mine, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I'll be #1 on YouTube, but I do appreciate the support, Coach. So, yeah, man, that was the main event. But, you know, we'll ease into the main event. Let's see what fights stood out on the undercards first. Devontae Smith versus Julian Erosa. I was really looking forward to that fight. Devontae Smith came out and looked great. Great on the microphone as expected. Great performance. First round knockout. I mean, just looked, you know, a solid performance for his UFC debut, coming off of another solid performance on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. So I was looking forward to that. And did he call anyone out? Oh, yeah, he said, somebody, I'm on your heels, boy. He said he was on somebody's heels in the post-fight speech. Forgive me, I forget the exact name, but he called somebody else, so he called his shot. I really liked that. Looking forward to see his next fight. Davi Ramos finished John Gunther. Very tough John Gunther. Chad Skelly, that controversial submission finish. Full time, is Frankie supposed to be in the title? Frankie? Oh, shit. No, he sure isn't. Frankie Edgar, low. Yair Rodriguez. I'll fix that. Thanks for pointing that out. That's what it was originally supposed to be. All right, so now with that being said, the controversial submission in the Chad Skelly, Bobby Moffitt, I think it was definitely an early stoppage, you know, for sure. I mean, in my opinion, this one was way earlier than the Kevin Lee Chiesa stoppage, which was also still somewhat controversial, but it was just because, I mean, even if Chad Skelly might have went unconscious for a half a second, because even as soon as the fight was stopped, he was like back up, like, yo, what the fuck did you just stop that for? Like, you know, the ref, when he shook his arm, I mean, he had a great explanation for what was going on there. His defense, he had been in that position before. He said that's one of his favorite moves. So controversial, but I mean, at the same time, it is what it is. That's happened. This is MMA. You know what I'm saying? We've seen refs stop fights early. We've seen late stoppages, early stoppages, controversial stoppages, and that just happened to be one. A big win for Bobby Moffitt. And Chad Skelly, I heard him speaking on Luke Thomas's MMA Hour before I actually started my show. And he said he wants to appeal the decision, but he doesn't want Bobby Moffitt to lose his win bonus. He's like, you know, it's just a loss on my record. Honestly, I wouldn't want him to lose his win bonus if I appealed it, but as long as he gets to keep his win bonus, you know what I'm saying, because I don't want to take nothing away from him. It ain't his fault what happened. Then I'll probably appeal it, but he's not trying to, you know, take nothing away from Bobby Moffitt, so that's super dope. We had another somewhat controversial decision. Well, this was a decision. That was a controversial stoppage. Amanda Bobby Cooper, man, she came in here and fought Ashley the Spider Monkey Yoder. And Coach, you're in here. I want to know what you think about this. I was waiting for you to go live to ask you, what do you think about Amanda Bobby Cooper? You think she's on the no love list? Because, man, she has not had an easy schedule at all in her MMA career. Like, not even close. Like, she had to fight Tatiana Suarez, but that was the Ultimate Fighter finale, you know what I'm saying? So she made it there. Cynthia Calvillo, Mackenzie Dern, and before that, she fought, I believe, Aspen Ladd in her pro career. All of her losses have been to some of the toughest strawweight fighters in the world. She's not getting any easy matchups, you know. So, I mean, and then she had 4 losses by submission, and they match her up against Ashley Yoder, who has 4 wins by submission. So it feels like just tough matchmaking for Amanda Cooper. And then the decision, she didn't get submitted. I actually thought she could have won 2 of the rounds. I mean, I think a lot of the people had Amanda Cooper up 2-1. One of the judges had ABC with the 30-27, which, you know, people might not agree with that, but you at least probably gave her 2 rounds. But she lost the split decision. And so not only does she get tough matchmaking, but damn, she's lost a tough split decision there. So I don't know. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, maybe she should be considered. Someone pointed that out during the stream, so I was going to ask Coach about that. Because Coach got the no love list, man. He calls shit like that out. So, yeah, man, great performance. Ashley Yoder got the win. She got her hand raised. She wasn't able to find the submission though, but I thought ABC looked solid in there. But now she's like 3-5 is her pro record, I believe, and That's never good. Maybe she can go to Invicta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. Maybe the UFC keeps her and gives her another opportunity. We will see. We had Mike Trizano versus the Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena. Mike Trizano got the decision. That was a good fight for sure. Luis Pena, I believe, thought he won the fight at the end, but I mean, I thought Trizano was going to win that going in. He actually won the Ultimate Fighter the season they were both on, the undefeated season that was coached by Cormier and Miocic. Mike Trizano won the show. Luis Pena won his fight on the show but was injured, so he wasn't able to actually fight all the way through. So this was almost like another finale of the show because Mike Trizano won on the finale, and now, Luis Pena was a guy a lot of people were looking at as a guy that, you know what I'm saying, had a great chance to win the show if not being injured. So Mike Trizano showed like he was definitely the rightful winner of the show, even if Pena didn't get injured with this win here. And Mike Trizano trains out of Tiger Showman. He's got a bright future. I believe he just moved to 8-0, so definitely looking forward to Mike Trizano's next fight. Another WMMA fight, Maycee Barber, Hannah Cifers. That was a great performance from Maycee Barber, man. She came in there and got the finish like she needed to, after almost missing weight, but not quite. She made weight on second attempt. But she came in here against Hannah Cifers, and she was looking for the finish the whole fight. Maycee Barber is dangerous. She's only 20 years old, and, some people felt like that was a little bit of a mismatch, and it could have been. Hannah Cifers did have 10 pro fights, though, and 5 amateur fights, so at least she did have some pro experience. But Maycee Barber came in there, and she put her away in the second round, and she called out Mackenzie Dern. That's somebody she wants to fight, so maybe we'll see that matchup next. She's calling her shots. She also, she's in her post-fight speech, she said, I'm going to be somebody you guys want to watch. Make sure you watch my future. And she also called for the bonus, you know what I'm saying? So definitely a girl that's going to be, willing to call her shots. I think she'll be great with them. She's got a lot of potential to be a future star as far as great with the media, great on the microphone, probably going to be great at press conferences, and a great fighter. She showed she was very dangerous, so. And as far as the no love list thing, you know what I'm saying? This is the type of matchmaking I feel like you get if the UFC sees something in you, like if you've got a bright future or you're very marketable, I think this is a lot better matchmaking compared to, the killers they got through it, like a ABC or some of these other fighters. But Beneil Dariush came out here and got a much-needed W against Thiago Moises. I mean, Beneil Dariush, he had more UFC fights coming into this. He had 13 UFC fights, and Thiago Moises had 12 pro fights. So he hadn't got he'd just been getting the short end of some sticks. Of the stick. He was beating Dariush he was beating Edson Barboza before he got knocked out in the third round. Lost a split decision. In one of his previous fights, had a draw. Let's see. Okay, no, it wasn't a split decision. He had the majority draw against Evan Dunham, and then he got knocked out by Alex Hernandez super quick into the fight. So definitely needed to get back on the winning train, and he did what he needed to do to win this fight. He held Thiago Moises down, the young 23-year-old, Brazilian fighter coming from Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and he held him down, and he grinded out a win in this fight. Just, wasn't the most eventful fight, but he definitely needed that win. GDR versus Raquel Pennington. GDR outclassing Raquel Pennington on the feet. Raquel Pennington doing her best to try and clinch up GDR, unsuccessful on all of her takedown attempts, unable to get her to the floor, which is where she might have had an advantage. Wasn't able to get her down in the clinch, any of her takedown attempts, so GDR won that fight via unanimous decision, and definitely, was, as expected, the better fighter on the feet coming into this thing. And yeah, she now... GDR coming off of winning the title versus Holly Holm, but avoided fighting Cyborg. So the UFC, she hadn't had a fight since then, since getting stripped of her title, and she got booked against Raquel Pennington and got a big win. So we'll see where she goes from here. During the fight companion, I heard some people throwing around, maybe they would like to see a future matchup between maybe GDR and Nunes. But I think she'll probably need another fight before she gets a title fight. Maybe GDR versus Vieira, GDR versus, Caitlin Vieira, or any of the top contenders of the division right now. I don't know, Caitlin Vieira is definitely one of the people talked up there. Holly Holm, GDR versus, well, they already fought at featherweight. So, yeah, we'll see what's next for GDR. Donald Cerrone getting it done versus Mike Perry. first round submission. A lot of people thought Donald Cerrone might get knocked out in the first round, but that was really the only way I think he could have lost this fight, is getting knocked out in the first round or maybe early in the second. But other than that, Donald Cerrone, I felt like, was the much better fighter coming into this. Much more well-rounded. I know people hate when I say that, but it's just the truth. I mean, he's better wrestling, better jiu-jitsu, and he's even got great stand-up. I mean, as far as he probably has better stand-up than Mike Perry. When you're talking about MMA, Mike Perry, yeah, he's probably got better boxing, but when you mix in kicks and everything else, you could probably give the edge to Donald Cerrone. The thing is, he's been knocked out in some of his previous fights, hasn't looked the greatest at welterweight, but he's been fighting the best welterweights in the world, and Mike Perry hasn't proven to be that yet. Mike Perry's only 26 years old, just now got with one of the actual legitimate fight team, I would say, as far as one of the best fight teams, one of the more well-known fight teams. I mean, best fight teams, you would probably argue that for Jackson Week at this point, but at least it's definitely somewhere you can go to become a great, well-rounded mixed martial artist. And Mike Perry just got there, so he's going to be working on his game and getting a lot better in the future, but just wasn't ready for Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone got the first-round arm bar and actually broke Mike Perry's arm in the fight. He said he felt it snap. And then in the main event, Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie. I mean, it was an epic fight all the way through as expected. It was a war. I mean, it was a 5-round fight, and Yair Rodriguez took it on short notice at altitude. You know, to me, what this was, it reminded me of a chess match, kind of like a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight, except for there was a lot more action. And it was like a chess match where they were actually exchanging. Instead of waiting for one of the other ones to come forward, they were actually in the center of the octagon, but still picking their strikes. And it ended up still being a back-and-forth battle. And who knows which way the scorecard would have went if Yair Rodriguez had not got that fucking crazy possible knockout of the year. I mean, people are talking about that as one of the craziest knockouts of all time, just the way it happened, the up elbow at the last second. I mean, absolutely insane knockout from Yair Rodriguez. It might have even been a little accidental, but it happened, and Korean Zombie went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? With 1 second left, bell rang right after the knockout happened, and it was about to be craziness. So, huge knockout. Buzzer beater, 5th round, short notice for Yair Rodriguez. Holy smokes. A lot of people were hoping he would call out Zabit on the mic. That didn't happen, and I believe Zabit actually took to social media and said, will he ever call my name? So we'll see where we're at, if that fight's still in the works or if it's ever going to get put together. But great performance from Yair Rodriguez as far as that finish is concerned, So, that was the recap of UFC Denver. As far as that, we'll talk about some of the news coming out of UFC Denver, and then just a little bit of other MMA news as well before we get out of here. So, salute to the family. Let me pull up the chat, see who's in the building. Forward in the building, didn't give him much of a chance landing a takedown, but benefited from a scramble and damn near took Perry's bicep home. John Doe says, Robbie barely beat Cowboy. Shit was a great fight. Cowboy said he felt that shit pop in the air. Yeah, man. And Mike Perry took to Twitter afterward and confirmed it. He was like, yo, you broke my fight. Good shit. You broke my arm in that fight. Good shit, Cowboy. Almost done watching the fight on replay. Absolute epic fight, says Forward. Judges had Zombie winning 4 rounds to 1. So that last round knockout was necessary. Holy shit, son. That makes it even crazier. Top 5 fight of the year, KO of the year. That wasn't a fluke. He was looking for funky elbows all night. Yeah, he was, but it was definitely at the end, last second. You know what I'm saying? Last fucking second. I don't know. It's arguable, definitely a little fluky. Last second, bro. If that didn't happen right there, he probably loses the fight. As Leon Dobson said, the judges had Korean Zombie winning 4 rounds to 1. Pinhead says Cowboy can be a real contender at 155. Yeah, man. And well, I don't know about 155. I don't know about 170, but 155 was the thing about that was the weight cut for Cowboy. But he has expressed interest in cutting back down there, so who knows, man? Maybe, but I'm always a little skeptical about Cowboy cutting down to 155. I mean, he already, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're cutting weight, it's a lot on your liver. You know what I'm saying? And Cowboy has had some damage done to his in the past already. And he already likes to, you know what I'm saying, drink a couple beers or two. So, you know what I'm saying? So 165 I would like to see Cowboy at, but he had a great performance last night. He can still beat guys at 170, just I don't know about the top 5, top 10 guys in the world. Him says, Perry hasn't beat a top-ranked fighter yet. This isn't good luck. Yeah, I don't think that was good luck at all by Donald Cerrone. It was hard. The only way, that's what I was saying, the only way I saw Perry winning the fight was a knockout in the first round. Other than that, Cowboy had it, he had it locked, man. All right, so let's move on, talk about a little bit of the headlines coming out of UFC Denver. Forward says, all roads seem to be pointing towards Cerrone versus Gaethje. That would be heat. I mean, before that, they were talking about like Gaethje versus Alex Hernandez. If that fight wasn't already booked, that they were talking about Gaethje versus Alex Hernandez. But not gonna lie, Cerrone versus Gaethje would be, oh shit, dude, that's the fight. Yeah, if they're both down for that, that's the fight, bro. That's absolutely insane. Holy smokes. So this was coming out, man. Like I said, that main event was an absolute war. And Forward, like, in his opinion, he said that's probably one of the fight of the years. And it could be. I'm not thinking of any other fights that come to mind, but, I'm probably being a prisoner at the moment. There's definitely been a lot of great fights this year. So definitely a contender for fight of the year. So they both took a lot of damage, and it was a last-second knockout. And both fighters still showing respect even afterward. But just looking at this picture, just to let you know how fucking serious this fight game is, man. These dudes are busted up. You know what I'm saying? And it was epic. It was a fight of the year performance, and they're shaking hands even in their hospital beds. And Korean Zombie said, my pride is really bad. I sell a lot, haha. Still, I love mixed martial arts, and I always express my congratulations to my young friend who was always polite. This match should be so satisfying. It's really okay now. Thanks, everyone. It was translated. So, super dope moment there after the fight from the Korean Zombie and Yair Rodriguez. And Korean Zombie definitely showing his respects. Two respectful fighters still getting it done. Great picture right there. Says unemployed Mario Yamazaki. Yeah, that shit was epic right there. Donald Cerrone says he felt Mike Perry's arm pop before the UFC Denver finish. And Mike Perry took to Twitter, said, good job, Cowboy Cerrone. You broke my damn arm. Cowboy said, I felt it pop before I went belly down. So I was just there tearing the chicken wing off. Yeah, I was taking it home with me. Let's go. That was a huge win and a huge submission for Cowboy. And Cowboy even said coming into this fight, it wasn't even a Mike Perry thing. It was a Jackson Wink thing. But I do wonder, even though it was not really personal against Mike Perry, I do wonder if that made it any more sweet for Cowboy. You know what I'm saying? Not breaking his arm, because of course fighters don't want to, they would never intentionally injure another fighter, but I wonder if that makes it any more sweet. I'm sure the first round finish makes it sweet as hell for Cowboy, getting that win over Jackson Wink. But like I said, this wasn't a Mike Perry thing, so Mike Perry just happened to be, it was kind of like the Cody Garbrandt situation with Team Alpha Male. With TJ Dillashaw, he was like, yo, this isn't really a Cody Garbrandt thing. He kind of got thrown into the middle of this. This was a me and a Team Alpha Male thing. Cody Garbrandt's just the guy that happens to be the contender that I got to fight from their team. That's kind of how this was. You're like, this ain't a Mike Perry thing. This is a Cowboy versus more of a Winkeljohn. Not even really Jackson Wink. It's kind of like that because it's Jackson Wink, but it's really Cowboy and a Winkeljohn thing. And so, you wonder if that makes it a little sweeter. I'm sure it does for Cowboy. But with that being said, Mike Winkeljohn, even though Mike Perry just got submitted in the first round, I don't think he's done. Mike Winkeljohn takes a shot at cancer, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, following big win at UFC Denver. Let's play what he had to say.
What's this about loyalty? Loyalty's two-sided, especially for the media that only sees one side. Where was Cowboy Cerrone the last 10 years helping others at the gym? Nowhere to be found. Didn't come to our classes. Didn't even use Greg Jackson's last 2 fight camps. When he came, he would grab sparring partners, and then he would take those sparring partners back up to his ranch where he paid for fun, free shit. Those guys go up there, sometimes they would stay and train, and they'd lose. Any gym owner would tell you, cancer has to be removed. It's removed. The gym has no drama. It's a happy place. I'm a happy guy. With that being said, I really wish Mike Perry had not taken Cowboy down. Anyway, if you have fighter experience and you want to come train with the best fighters in the world and help each other, Jon Jones, Holly Holm, Michelle Watterson, Devin Clark, Bavon Lewis, Carlos Condit, CR, John Dotson, and so many others, you're more than welcome. If you're one of those guys that swings on Donald Cerrone's, you know what? That's weak and weird.
Okay. Laid it down right there. A little salty though, right? He said, I really wish Mike Perry wouldn't have taken him down. Yeah, I do too. I actually don't because I was rooting for Cerrone. But yeah, like that wasn't the wisest thing to do. Like, there's levels to this ground game, and that's really where Mike Perry lost the fight. Donald Cerrone reversed the position after Mike Perry took him down and ultimately got the submission. So, but you know, he's probably getting berated by fans right now, like Team Cowboy, because this was a Team Cowboy versus a Team Wink thing. So all the Team Cowboy is probably on his heels right now on social media. He said, loyalty is two-sided. I haven't worked with Cerrone in over 10 years. Now, the things he did say, some teammates have kind of said about Cowboy, but either way, you know, Cowboy has his side and they have their side, you know, and now it's split. And okay, it seems like he's still happy with the decision because he's saying there's peace in the gym. Who knows, man? We'll see. If Jackson Wink, you know, there's been people say there's a Jackson Wink curse right now. You know, you train with Jackson Wink, there's so much drama in the gym, they feel like that's causing a lot of distress. There's even been a lot of fighters leaving the camp. And so, who knows if there's still disarray, but Mike Perry, you know, after that submission in the first round getting submitted by Donald Cerrone, Jackson Wink is speaking out, and he's doubling down, man. Stamina MC says Winkle salt can choke on an eggplant. Shit was hilarious, says unemployed Mario Yamasaki. Yeah, man, there's levels to this shit, though. You know, not enough time. Regardless of all the drama, you know, I don't think it was enough time for Mike Perry, but either way, Team Cerrone got one last night. And we'll see. You know, there's been, who was it? Diego Sanchez was talking about potentially fighting Cowboy if Mike Perry or someone wasn't able to make it to the fight. Donald Cerrone might have to whoop another Jackson Wink, you know, one of their asses, like Diego Sanchez was calling him out. Who knows? Diego Sanchez versus Cowboy, maybe he's gonna have to do it again for Winkeljohn to really, you know what I'm saying, let this go. Kind of lost, yeah, and they lost like 10 in a row. I mean, yeah, they snapped the losing streak, but there was a losing streak for a while there. But they snapped it, but there's still been wins and losses. People leaving the gym that, you know, and a couple of people that left. One of the people for sure that I've seen most recently, their reasoning was they just didn't like the drama. So we shall see. Complex Dianetics says, yo, high full time is the greatest DC here. What's cracking? Not much was. What's going on, man? You good today? You good, bro? CFR Sports says, Cowboy, the Jackson Wink killer. Yo, what's going on, CFR Sports? Unemployed Mario Yamasaki says, Cowboy can turn this into a rivalry like Dominic Cruz. Oh, you guys want to hear something dope? Somebody sent this to me in my email. Here's a cool little intermission. It's called Like a Shot, Coming for Blood. So, Coming for Blood, this is a project they're working on, like rock, rap, I believe they said, and this is their first single, and they said if I wanted to use it for, like, any highlight videos or anything, or for the show that I could, so I just wanted to let you guys hear it. I think it's just a sample, but we could get the full song, I believe. So check this out, guys. Tell me what you think about it. That's hard. Oh, it stopped. I thought that. I liked it. I thought that shit was hard. Let me check. Like, especially when they start to rap it. I like the beginning part too. I actually liked it, but I'm gonna play it again. Yo, that shit is hard. That shit is hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That shit is hard. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. What is this? A Stamina MC? This is Coming for Blood. Let me see. Here, I'll read you guys exactly what the project is. Let's see. Let me go back to my email. I like it, though. I actually like it. Alright, let's see. Recently launched a brand new hip-hop project called Coming for Blood, based on my love for all things fighting. We just dropped our very first single, Like a Shot. So this is the very first single. It is a hip-hop rock project called Coming for Blood, based on his love for all things fighting. I actually think that this single is actually super dope, bro. One more time, fuck it. Since we only got the snippet, I'm gonna request the full song. That's my favorite part. Hey, that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part when he gets to make it rain nuclear missiles. Boom! And then he gets to spitting again. That shit is hard. $2 in the super chat from Complex Dianetics says Daniel Cormier is the greatest of all time. Hashtag Natty Goat. Yo, definitely up there. Thank you very much for the 2 in the super chat. John Doe says, I like when they mix this shit. I promise you this shit is live. It is 1,000,000 times better than Future. Yo, yeah, that shit. I love the song, just as a song, but workout. Like I'm just thinking like that would be killer to work out to anything, even just fighting. You know what I'm saying? Doing some motherfucking kickboxing or something like that. Shit is hard. I think this is super dope. So yeah, man. Salute to Coming for Blood. This is the first single, Like a Shot. You guys want to check it out? I'll put the link in the chat. But yeah. Oh, what? They didn't let me put a link? What the hell? I'm the damn streamer. I don't think they're going to let me link it. Nope. For some reason they won't let me link it. Here, let me see if I can put like a space. Okay. That's probably the dot part. Alright, let's do it like this. No? What the heck? Hello. So it'll let me say hello, but it won't let me type that. Alright, let me do it like this. Alright. Damn, they are not letting me do it. YouTube don't fuck with smart URL, I guess. Yeah, but no, he just launched the project, Stamina MC. You say Google brings up fuck all for Coming for Blood. He just launched it. He says, I recently launched a brand new hip-hop rock project called Coming for Blood. He just launched it. I mean, he told me actually who he is other than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting his name out there, but he says he's actually a producer from Detroit. And he's actually recently co-wrote and produced some stuff. So, some cool stuff, it looks like. So, but yeah, he recently just launched this. I don't know if he wants me to put his name out there, bro. I'm not gonna put his name out there like that, but I'll say this: he recently co-wrote and produced Prevail's Lifeline's album, Fearless Records, as well as co-wrote 5 songs on the new Escape and Fate album, including the lead single Broken Heart. I haven't looked those up yet. But I mean, if you're interested, I'll ask him because I'm gonna ask for the full song. He said if I like it, he'll give me the full MP3, and I actually think it's super dope. So yeah, man. All right, let's get back to the MMA news. Let's get back to it. Cowboy Cerrone, we just talked about the Winkeljohn. You guys want to play that one more time? All right, dogs. No, it's snowing outside. Y'all ain't playing up here. All right, we're gonna play it one more time, guys.
What's this about loyalty? Loyalty's two-sided, especially for the media that only sees one side. Where was Cowboy Cerrone the last 10 years helping others at the gym? Nowhere to be found. Didn't come to our classes. Didn't even use Greg Jackson in his last 2 fight camps. When he came, he would grab sparring partners, and then he would take those sparring partners back up to his ranch where he paid for fun, free shit. Those guys go up there, sometimes they would stay and train, and they'd lose. Any gym owner would tell you, cancer has to be removed. It's removed. The gym has no drama. It's a happy place. I'm a happy guy. With that being said, I really wish Mike Perry had not taken Cowboy down. Anyway, if you have fighter experience and you want to come train with the best fighters in the world and help each other, Jon Jones, Holly Holm, Michelle Watterson, Devin Clark, Bavon Lewis, Carlos Condit, CR, John Dotson, and so many others, you're more than welcome. If you're one of those guys that swings on Donald Cerrone's, you know what? That's weak and weird. What's this about loyalty?
This is the thing why I'm torn, because I respect a lot of the fighters at Jackson Wink, and I actually like a lot of them, you know. As far as John Dotson, that's always been one of my favorite fighters. Holly Holm, Karate Hottie, shoot, even Jon Jones, you got to respect his skills. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's still a lot of great fighters at Jackson Wink. And it's not like all of them are coming up and being like, yo, coach is wrong. So, it's two sides to each situation. And I will say this. Just because Mike Perry lost the fight doesn't mean there's not two sides to every story. You know, even though I'm Team Cowboy. So, you heard what Jackson Wink had to say. Some people say he's just salty, and that could be the case. You know, his fighter did lose last night. But it is what it is, guys. You know what I'm saying? We'll see where this goes. He's definitely still didn't use that as a reason to come out and forgive Cowboy. Like, listen, maybe I was wrong. You got the win. Let's drop it there. It seems like he's doubling down, so. Germaine de Randamie revealed she was nearly blinded by a freak accident. Oh, this is an interview we can't play. Well, yeah, so she was saying that after that win, she revealed that there was a freak accident. She was almost blinded before her UFC Denver return. That would be crazy. You know, that definitely would have sucked. Fighter have their injury, their whole career derailed by some freak injury, go blind. I can't play this, but I listened to this already, so I'll recap it for you. Rose Namajunas eyeing a spring return, says Jessica Andrade is the only fight that makes sense. I do like that Rose Namajunas is out. She gave a timetable on her return. Now, it's not exactly 100% what you were probably looking to hear. Like, yeah, I'm, you know, gonna be. She didn't give an exact date, but she gave us a timetable, and she did say Jessica Andrade is what makes the most sense. Now, with that being said, it's good to hear from Rose Namajunas. She's talked about in her training, she's not taking too many direct headshots, you know, to help heal up that neck injury. And so that's super dope. Now, she also mentioned the holidays, which, you know what I'm saying, was just kind of interesting. She said definitely won't be fighting anytime before the holidays. And then she said she likes fighting in the spring and the fall. And spring, you know, is probably the closest, so it'll probably be in the spring. Now, when they asked who does she think might be next, she did say Jessica Andrade, which is super dope because I definitely think we can all agree that's the #1 contender. But she did say this, which is just something that I kind of, like, oh, okay. You know, listening to, when I was first listening, I was like, oh, there's Rose. Here she goes. Oh, shit. You know, she's about to come back and whoop Andrade's ass because I'm really a big fan of Rose. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she can definitely win the fight. But then there was just one thing she said, and I was like, okay, we'll see where this goes. And it was the fact that she said, she was like, you know, I probably won't be fighting until spring. I like fighting in the spring or fall. But she said, if Jessica Andrade wants to wait until then, you know, she's probably definitely next. But if she wants to fight again in the meantime, I understand that too. And I'm thinking, ain't no fighting in the meantime. If I'm Jessica Andrade, sorry. If I'm Jessica Andrade, even though I won that $50,000, I'm eating cup noodles. I'm saving money until I get my title shot. I ain't running out of money to where I'm forced to take a fight because I don't have much money, to where I got to sell my fight gear and take another fight until Rose is back. I'm not doing that. I'm saving this money, budgeting this shit. I won a $50,000 fight bonus. I am next. Because one of the other things Rose said was, Joanna, she just got back on the winning track, you know, so she's making things interesting. And I was thinking, Joanna, what is Joanna even on your mind for? You already beat her twice. It's not making it interesting for you. Maybe she's thinking Joanna versus Andrade can happen until the spring. Because if Joanna beats Andrade, you know what I'm saying? That's what she... And interview was going great. I think it was great that she gave us this update. But at the end, I just found it was thought it was interesting that she said, you know, if Andrade wants to fight again, I understand that. And Joanna's also making things interesting. She's back in the winning column. As far as the title shot is concerned, I'm not thinking of Joanna. You know what I'm saying? and so we'll see. And then one of the things, you know, if you wanted to nitpick, you could say, like, you like fighting in the spring or the fall. Like, what are we be picking seasons here? You know, but, you know, spring is sooner rather than later. So, when she's still dealing with an injury. So, we'll wait to see where this goes. But I did find it interesting that she brought Joanna's name up, because I don't know where that came from. Unless you're trying to pit maybe Joanna versus Andrade interim title fight. You know? So, we'll see where it goes. But Rose Namajunas gave an update at UFC Denver. So, that was super dope. Rizin issuing a statement apologizing for Rizin 14's main event confusion. There was a whole lot of confusion that went on. Floyd Mayweather, according to his side, he said it was supposed to just be a little bit of like a spectacle. You know, some rich people were flying in. It wasn't going to be an official fight, nothing like that. 3-round exhibition match. You know, people really wanted to see it. And that's all it was supposed to be. Then he got to the press conference and they started announcing it like it was an actual fight, headlining a Rizin 14. And instead of upsetting all of these people who flew in to see this exhibition match at the press conference, not being at home, probably not having his people around him, you know what I'm saying? He's in Japan, surrounded by all these big money people, and they're announcing this shit. And he probably didn't even understand half the press conference. I'm sure they translated it for him, but he didn't want to make a big scene, he said. So he just let the press conference roll. And then once he got back home, he was like, yo, I never agreed to that. This was supposed to be some exhibition match. So now Rizin is giving their side. They're issuing statements apologizing for it. They said, at a press conference held on November 5th, 2018, we at Rizin announced that Rizin 14 fight card at the Saitama Super Arena on December 31st, 2018 would be headlined by Mayweather vs. Nasukawa. However, shortly after this announcement, Mr. Mayweather himself made an announcement through social media. This message seemed to be insisting that the match had been canceled, and we sincerely apologize for this confusion. Rizin chairman Sakakibara is currently holding discussions towards carrying out the match based on the original contract between our promotion and Mr. Mayweather. This based on the basic agreement we initially did have with Mr. Mayweather. We hope to have a clearer announcement next week. In truth, we would like to make a clearer announcement now. Unfortunately, as of writing, we are not in the position to report our current negotiation situation to you all. This is a statement, or thus this statement will concern our ongoing development. Sadly, we are afraid to inform you all that we will be needing more time. Again, we sincerely apologize for the confusion and concern this has been causing. So actually, you're saying kind of like behind the scenes, they're trying to still get Mayweather on the card. They can't tell you where they're at in negotiations, but they still are trying to get him to agree to the contract he signed. So seems like they're still going with the Mayweather agreed to fight. Maybe Mayweather misread the contract. You know, very real possibility. Or maybe his, you know, either way, there was a misunderstanding somewhere. And if Mayweather did back out of a signed contract, he could be, you know, something could happen if he actually signed the contract and just misunderstood things as far as, you know, getting out of that contract and not doing the fight. I don't know, lawsuit, how that would play out. But either way, Mayweather, there's clearly a misunderstanding, and they're coming out saying they're still working on getting a new main event or trying to get Mayweather back into his agreement. So it really comes down to which side do you believe? Do you believe Mayweather just agreed to some exhibition match, or do you think he signed to fight Nasukawa thinking it was going to be easy work, or thinking it was just going to be boxing, and then he looked up some of those highlights and said, fuck this, because Nasukawa's a beast. I'll tell you that much, but in boxing, clearly, you give the edge to Mayweather. So either way, Rizin is issuing a statement apologizing. We got a couple more things to talk about. Iaquinta saying Kevin Lee might be just as tough, if not tougher, than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Sounds like Iaquinta knows what he's got on his hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you guys, don't count Kevin Lee out. He did lose the first fight to Iaquinta, but Kevin Lee, in my opinion, is one of the best lightweights in the world, not only, but one of the most well-rounded lightweights in the world. And I say that because when I watch somebody fight, I really don't see many people as fluidly use all of their skills in a fight. The one thing about Kevin Lee, the only thing about Kevin Lee, his only weakness, is potentially his chin. That's the only thing. He's been rocked and did the stinky leg or the chicken, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he's been rocked. That's where a couple of his losses came from. Getting rocked and not being able to recover. Now, Barboza, he was able to recover. Either way, that's the only thing. Other than that, Kevin Lee uses his striking to set up well-timed takedowns. And once he takes you down, he uses his jiu-jitsu. And he does it fluidly. All three very well. He's not a shit striker. He's a great wrestler. And he's got great jiu-jitsu. I mean, we saw him submit Michael Chiesa and other guys before. And you can say, oh, yeah, well, it was an early stoppage. Either way, the position he had on Michael Chiesa was very impressive. And give him 5 more seconds, and it was going to be hard for Michael Chiesa to get out of that position either way. So regardless, he in multiple of his fights, if you haven't seen all of Kevin Lee's fights, back when I had UFC Fight Pass, when, before that shit overdrafted me, and, I had to come back, so I do plan on getting it again. But back when I did have it, that's another story for another day. Back when I did have it, I went back and watched all of Kevin Lee's fights ahead of one of his fights. I was breaking down or something. I went and watched all of Kevin Lee's fights, and it was just, I was super impressed. I mean, at the way he used his striking, he started every fight off, clearly as every fight does, standing up. He wasn't just always shooting for a takedown, only looking for a takedown. He's willing to strike with you, and he's dangerous there. He also is always looking for that takedown, though, as a great wrestler. Got that great wrestling base you need to be one of the best fighters in the world. And that's a majority of the time. Clearly, there's a couple people that get by that aren't the best wrestlers, but a majority of the best fighters in the world have a great wrestling base. And then he's got great jiu-jitsu. He locks that body triangle up on dudes quick and fucking will submit you fast. So Kevin Lee is, and he's done nothing but get better since his first fight against Iaquinta. And Iaquinta is a guy that has fought both of these fighters. He's fought Kevin Lee and he's fought Khabib. So he's coming out here and he's saying that he thinks Kevin Lee might be just as tough, if not tougher, than Khabib. He said everything was correct as far as talking about the Gaethje fight wasn't at the right time. He said he is going to be fighting Kevin Lee. Everything's correct about this, and nothing was correct about the last one. It was like injuries coming off of that Khabib fight. I was still banged up. It was quick. I wasn't happy with a few other things. It just wasn't right. This is definitely a better fight. I think it's an intriguing matchup. Just everything about it. He's just as tough, if not tougher than Gaethje. He might be just as tough, if not tougher than Khabib. I was sitting front row at his last fight with Edson Barboza, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to be Barboza right now. It was brutal. It was not fun to watch, so I'm training my ass off. I want to be the one doing that to him, for sure. He said he's definitely bigger and stronger. He's more mature as a fighter as far as compared to the last fight. Probably less mature as a person. He said he's polished, he's seasoned. Now he's been in there with really tough guys. He was cocky, and then he came into the UFC, and he kind of thought he was going to run through everything. So he talked a little bit more about the first fight as well. He says, I definitely humbled him there and changed his life. He moved to Vegas and switched camps. I think I've been in the guy's head for a while, and he's been looking forward to this. There's two kind of ways this goes. He's definitely put in the work. He's all in. A guy willing to move to Las Vegas because he thinks it's a better team there is definitely serious. He's coming to put it on me. I know that for sure. On the other hand, I've been with Ray Longo. I've been with Matt Serra. I've been with these guys forever. We have such a good bond. Matt Frivola coming over, Aljamain Sterling, Chris Weidman. I don't think he has anybody like that on his team. I don't think he's got like a family like I have here. Not saying that's going to win me the fight because I'm the one fighting. But I just feel like I put so much work in my life that I have to beat this guy. That's it. So we'll see, man. These guys are going to be headlining UFC Milwaukee going down in December, I believe. But I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup, that rematch for sure. We got a couple more things to discuss. Anthony Smith sums up his thoughts on Jon Jones. He says, I just want to fight him, and I think he cheats. Anthony Smith is the guy that came out and he said, he recently beat Volkan Ozdemir, and he said he thinks Volkan Ozdemir's he would have actually rather fought Jon Jones than Ozdemir. He thinks Jon Jones is more hittable. And this is a matchup we could definitely be seeing sometime in the future as Anthony Smith continues to show he's one of the best light heavyweights and middleweights in the world, even though he was huge for that division. But he's up here light heavyweight now, 3-0, and he just beat one of the top 5 contenders in, another finish, this time by submission. So Jon Jones is a guy that if Anthony Smith wins one more fight, or if the UFC needs somebody to take a fight on short notice, as he's shown he's willing to do, he could fuck around and get a title shot. We got Gustafsson versus Jon Jones coming up at the end of the year. If one of these guys gets injured, heaven forbid, but let's say if Gustafsson did, something happen, then Anthony Smith has shown he's willing to step up on short notice, and he could be fighting Jon Jones for a title sometime in the future, even if he could even be fighting the winner of that fight, honestly. So we will see. But he said, man, people have been saying that shit about me forever. I wasn't ready for Volkan Ozdemir. I wasn't ready for Shogun. Who are people going to, he said, when are people going to pretty much give him his props? He said, maybe I'm just good. I don't know when people might entertain that. I might just be good. He said, I think that Jon is in a weird place now. I've won 3 fights in 5 months. Jon Jones has won 3 fights in 5 years. Like, what more do I have to do? I'm busting my ass. I'm in great entertaining fights, 3 finishes. Part of me is like, what are you even talking about? You don't even really fight until just now. Jon Jones wasn't even eligible. He said, I'm not one of those guys trying to build animosity with Jon. I don't give a shit about Jon Jones. It's about the title for me. But likely, he's going to be the one who has it, I would guess. So he's the one that people ask questions about. I think the things that bother Jon is when people ask me, do I think he cheats? Yeah, I do. It's failed drug test. How can you argue with that? He's been suspended twice for PEDs. I'm not the only one talking about Jon Jones, so it's like I don't know what the deal is, but I don't give a shit. I'm not here about to start shit with anybody, and I don't have a problem with Jon Jones. I don't know Jon Jones. I can only speak to what we all know. I've never talked about him personally, and that's the route people go a lot with Jon. They want to talk about his personal life and the trouble he's in again. Again, I don't give a shit about that either. I just want to fight him, and I think he cheats. That's it. Yo, I like Anthony Smith, man. I'm looking forward to his next fight if he fights another top contender, or even if he fought Jon Jones. I think that would be a fight you can't just all the way count him out of. You know what I'm saying? Especially not knowing where Jon Jones is at coming off the suspension, and he said it great right there. I've won 3 fights in 5 months. He's won 3 fights in 5 years. Jon Jones had a hell of a legacy, but this is one thing also. People give Jon Jones for being the GOAT, and which well-deserved for the guys that he beat. The caliber of guys he was beating at the time he was on his reign. But this is the caveat. At the time, MMA evolves. Fighters get better. The guys that Jon Jones were beating, they were fucking amazing. They were legends of the sport a lot of the times at that time. But a lot of those guys are washed now, and they're not at the top of the division. Jon Jones did knock out Daniel Cormier, but he failed the drug test. We've seen Anthony Smith actually beating guys, you know what I'm saying, recently. Today in MMA, right? Volkan Ozdemir, super impressive. No time. Didn't get knocked out by Ozdemir, as we've seen many people do. Made it to submit Volkan Ozdemir at light heavyweight, and he looked big for the division. This would be an amazing matchup, Anthony Smith versus Jon Jones, I think. And I honestly wouldn't count Anthony Smith all the way out. I'm just becoming more and more of a fan of Anthony Smith, and I think with that win over Ozdemir, you got to consider him a contender for that title. Maybe he's one fight away. I'm fine if you want to argue that, but he's up there, man. Definitely putting in the work. So, one more thing, Ben Askren and Scott Coker exchanging a little bit of shots online over failed Bellator negotiations. He says, it says, well, this is about half-truth from Scott Coker. I wanted to fight Rory. He said no, simple. Says Scott Coker reveals Ben Askren almost found himself in the current welterweight title Grand Prix. That would have been dope, though, Askren in the welterweight title Grand Prix. But he says he wanted to fight Rory, and he said no. Scott Coker says, I know you're used to people not responding to you, but the truth is you and your team were only interested in a 1-fight deal, and when we asked Bob Cook if you would fight in the welterweight Grand Prix on a 3-fight deal, you didn't want to do it. And he says, Scott, so what about my tweet was false? Scott responded and said, we would have given you Rory to start the Grand Prix, and you didn't want to do it, which is fine. I just want to make sure the facts are straight. Don't spin it like Rory and I were ducking you. You chose to not enter the tournament. Oh shit, okay. More little insight to what went on. And neither one of them are lying. Neither one of them seem to be lying. And Scott Coker's speaking up. Ben Askren says, I think you're pushing alternative facts here. I can go back and look through old messages, emails, but this sure isn't the way I recall it. You and I both know Roy vs. me looks very similar to Roy vs. Gegard. So, I don't know. I'm kind of with Scott Coker on this one, not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? Because Ben Askren didn't deny what Scott Coker said. He said, yo, I would have let you fight Rory in the tournament. We're having a welterweight Grand Prix. You can't fight Rory and then beat him in the tournament and then leave, and we got this tournament going. What Ben Askren was asking from Bellator was unreasonable. So, you know, that unreasonable ask, if Bellator has these plans for this welterweight Grand Prix, which they already had the heavyweight Grand Prix going on, so you could imagine they planned other Grand Prix because now there's one launched. They already had plans for a welterweight Grand Prix, and you also know they did because it was part of the negotiations. Why would they break up a whole welterweight planned Grand Prix just so you can have this one-off fight? And then if you win, you're only into one-fight deal. That would be terrible business for Bellator. So it's almost an unreasonable ask. So it's like you're asking to fight Rory McDonald and then run if you win or lose. But that's just unreasonable. So Scott Coker's like, don't spin it like we're ducking you. And he's like, well, you guys were kind of ducking me. Like, no. I'm not with Askren on this one here. I don't think Roy McDonald and Scott Coker were ducking him. I think if you want to fight Roy McDonald, what's wrong with 2 more fights? If you can beat Roy McDonald, the welterweight champion, why not take the glory of winning the welterweight Grand Prix? And even if he offered you a 3-fight deal, after you win the Grand Prix, you can walk. If you're confident enough to beat Roy McDonald, you can probably beat all the welterweights, right? Because he's the champion. So come in, fight Rory, and he said he'll give it to you first in the tournament. So you beat Rory. Then who's next? You know, the winner of Ed Ruth and Neiman Gracie. So if you beat Rory, you fight potentially Ed Ruth or Neiman Gracie. And then, I mean, if you can beat Rory, right, you could probably beat one of those guys, I would imagine. I would assume Rory, if he wins this fight, is going to be a favorite over one of those guys. So why not win the Grand Prix and then walk? You know, so yeah, man, that's interesting. I think Scott Coker definitely came out and, you know, responded the way he needed to because, look, maybe that was like a little bit of a spin there, you know, because that's what I got from the original tweet. You know, he wanted to fight Rory. He said no. Simple. So, yeah, it is what it is, though. We know Ben Askren is now with the UFC and not in the Bellator Grand Prix. And that's really the last thing we got to talk about, guys. And so that's a good place to probably play like some Bellator, repping Bellator and end the show, right? Let's pull up the chat, see if anyone's got anything going on crazy, asking any questions. Yoza L in the building. John Doe in the building. Complex Dianetics in the building. Dennis Espinoza, what is going on? Good sir. Salute to you. Benji in the building. Jones acts more mature the older he gets, he says. Who just said that in one of their dishes? Somebody just said that. It was funny. I laughed at it. Somebody just said that in one of these. Oh, Iaquinta. Oh, that's funny the way he said it. He said Kevin Lee, he's definitely grown as a fighter, you know, since then, but, he said he's definitely matured as a fighter since then, but not as a person. It was funny as fuck. But, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that fight. Great fight we had this Saturday. Great fights we had this Saturday, man. But that's it for the show today, guys. I got to get to work soon. And trying not to be late. So this was actually good timing. So thank you guys for coming through to the show. We'll be back tomorrow, man. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you guys think in the comments. We're going to play a song, I guess. Let's do it. Bellator, I'm repping Bellator. And then we'll get out of here. Scott Coker, speaking up. Letting Ben Askren know. Are you sure you wanted to smoke? Because we offered you a 3-fight deal. Hey, I'm not going to lie. From what Scott Coker had to say, you could argue Ben Askren was ducking the fade of the Bellator Grand Prix. There's 2 sides to every story. I mean, why would you fight Rory and not want to win the tournament? Only like the Rory matchup? I don't know. Take the 3-fight deal and then walk. I don't know. Scott Coker ain't fucking around, though. Bellator's on the rise. Let's go. Make sure you subscribe to UFC Yankovic if you haven't. Links in the description. BagelBot throws that thing up in the chat every now and then. Anti-BagelBot. Don't forget the anti. See you motherfuckers tomorrow.
Bellator, I'm reppin' Bellator, Bellator, Bellator. I'm reppin' Bellator, Bellator, Bellator. I'm reppin' Bellator, Bellator, Bellator. I'm reppin' Bellator. Look, Dana White, you found a fight. You said some shit that I ain't like about Bellator, so now it's time to back it up. Now grab the mic. You slap the fighters with the Reebok deal and treat them like some fools. I ask the fighters how the people feel, so people think I'm cool. Yeah, Scott Coker, baby, you ain't fucking with us. I'm like a stockbroker, baby, and I'm running it up. Go get your pot holders, baby. I'm like the oven to touch, and you can get Conor or Tony. Dana, my Chandler, fucking him up. Whoa, whoa there, Scott. Whoa, what the fuck? Maybe when you smoke your pot, you shouldn't smoke so much. Because I know that you're high. Michael Chandler would die against Conor or Tony. Homie, so don't even try. Now, should I keep it with you, or should I get on your roster? Even Jimmy Smith is just a roster imposter. You got James Gallagher, he just wanna be Conor. You got Rory McDonald only cause we didn't want him. You see, Scott Coker, me and you, we are not kosher. You're not a stockbroker, boy, you're a stockholder. What the fuck were you thinking, sending that shitty diss my way? You need to think before you diss, while you're at it, take these fly